Welcome everyone to this week's Colorscope. My name's Elizabeth Harper. My website is sealedwithlove.com, and this week I've been having such a giggle. I've introduced my friend Michelle Hanson. Michelle, hi.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Michelle always signs her emails from Shell, and she's a Shell expert. She's an intuitive psychic teacher, author, and she has a wonderful book with cards called The Ocean Oracle, and lots of cards. Oh my goodness, I mean tons of cards, and with shells on them, and sitting right behind her are all her shells. We were talking about my fairy crown, and she has all her shells behind her. Well, not all of them, they're just a few of them. I mean, you know, she's got tons of shells. So, Shell and I have been talking about which shells to use and which colours to use. So use your intuition as usual to select one of the three following colours. So the colours are, let me see if I can remember. Here we go. Nacre tan, marine blue, and shell pink. So that's nacre tan, marine blue, and shell pink. Now, we're going to talk about the colours. We're also going to talk about the shells that come up with that. On Michelle's website, oceanoracle.com, you'll also see lots of shells and images of the shells. So you can take a look at those at the same time as look at the shells here as well. So we're going to start with nacre tan. And apparently there's a shell for memory as well, so we'll talk about that as well. So we're going to do nacre tan first. So nacre is like a mother of pearl color energy. It has a beautiful white with lots of colors in it, and tan, of course, is that sort of pale pinky browny earthy color. So feel with this that you might be feeling a little bit lightheaded. I almost get this sense of lightheadedness, slightly lifting up, and you're trying to get back to the earth, hold onto the earth, and it feels like you're trying to hold onto something or someone by doing that. And I have this sense, with Mother of Pearl, it has a very sort of silvery energy to it as well. And I almost have a feeling that you're looking into your past, that you might be looking at something or someone that you're just trying to grasp or maybe even understand right now. And of course, this is about Valentine's week and relationship energy. So you could be looking at someone from your past, a relationship from your past that you're trying to understand or keep connected to. And I always get this feeling of the energy is moving away from you. And there's a sense of needing to ground or come into yourself or come back to yourself or bring your energy back to yourself so that you can understand a little bit more about that relationship. That's kind of interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So I'll leave you with that because it's kind of an interesting energy, and see what Shell has to say about the energy and the shell that comes up.
Okay, well, since this is Valentine's Day, when you're going to be viewing this is the shell. It's a heart cockle, and this is the shell that will sort of be the energy for our topic today. Because it's actually, sailors use them as Valentines for their sweethearts.
It's beautiful.
Love and romance. And since we're talking about love, this is the shell that Elizabeth was just talking about. Let me just see if I can hold it there for you. It's called a moon snail, and it has that nacre tan color. And moon snails, I love that you said it was about someone understanding the relationship in another way and looking back. Moon snails inflate their bodies. They can get to be like 4 times the size of their shell, kind of like Jabba the Hutt, this blubbery mass. And in order to get back in the shell, they have to expel all that water. And when someone is attracted to that shell, it's someone who values love as attention. Like, pay attention to me and I will feel that you love me. But what we tend to do, because I said the animal blows itself up, it's making mountains out of molehills. So the attention is coming from blowing things up out of proportion. And that could be someone who has disasters in their life or physical illness or anything that they can get attention from, because when you show them compassion, they feel loved. So the message from Moon Snail is there's nothing wrong with love as attention, but we can get attention by inflating the wonderful things in our life. If everyone gets a 90 on a test, get a 95. So it's all about growing the light, increasing the wonderful things. And if you know anyone who says, if you think that's bad, wait till you hear what happened to me. That's a Moon Snail statement. Like, I've got to have something even more damaging than the person before me so that I can get the attention and I can get the compassion. And what you can do when you're looking back, as you said, and understanding the relationship in a new way, instead of paying attention to the bad things, if you pay attention to something great and say to that person, oh, I just heard the most wonderful thing that happened to so-and-so, they will start to say to you when they realize you pay attention to that, well, if you think that's great, wait until you hear this. And they will start to have wonderful things happen. So that is the message from the Moon Snail for love as attention.
Cool. I love that. It made me want to cry when you talked about it swelling up. And of course, all that, all that water and emotion and everything. That's
exactly.
Perfect. Wow.
Exactly.
Thank you. All right then, so our next colour, if I remember, is marine blue. So, the blue energy, blue of course, and we know this, is communication, it's healing, blue is the ocean, it's the sky. When you think of the ocean being blue, it often reflects the sky and what's going on in the sky. So I feel like, again, there's a message here of thinking about things, and there's the making mountains out of molehill things, but I don't feel that you're totally connected to your emotions. I feel almost as if you have been maybe communicating out of sorts, or seeing things in others that looks a little negative, but really it isn't. And I have this feeling of just being slightly not quite yourself at this moment, and I get this sense that something is brewing within you, a bit like the ocean, that there's some kind of tidal wave that's coming, and it's about to wash everything out, and then you'll have those calm waters again. I feel like that is going to happen. But what might happen is, with communication, it might be that you might go whoa, and you might just have a bit of an argument, or say something that is just emotion that's coming up, that's been stuck, and I feel like there's going to be clear skies that are coming. It's just something is coming up first before that happens. So a storm is a coming, and then there'll be calm waters. All right then, so I'll hand you over to Shell, see what shell she has.
Okay, for the marine blue we have the Mussel Shell. And I'll show you both sides. It's lovely inside as well.
Ah.
Now, mussels attach themselves to wharfs and rocks by these threads, by these strings. They're called byssus threads. And when someone is attracted to the mussel, it means thinking that everything comes with strings attached. So if someone offers you something, the thought is, what do they want now from me? What's that string that's attached? So their thought process is nothing comes just from the generosity of the heart. Everything's got strings attached. But those people give all the time to everyone, and it looks like they're very generous. This is love as generosity, love as giving gifts. But the cautionary note is, sometimes if you're thinking nothing comes to me from the generosity of the heart, it all has strings attached, what if I'm ever in need? How is anyone going to come to my aid if it's not from the generosity of their heart? If I give to everyone all the time, what I'm doing in my mind without my awareness is creating indebtedness, so that if I'm in need, they will come to my aid. So what this shell is saying is, if you're giving to everyone all the time, when you look back, you may see your gifts are devalued, because everyone knows you give to everyone. It won't have that special quality to the giving. But actually, the giving is not out of love, it's out of fear. no one will come to my aid, so I am planting all this insurance that people will come by indebting them in various ways. So instead, what the mussel is saying is, take a look at your giving and give when it's coming definitely from the generosity of your heart, but liberate yourself not to have to give if it's coming out of fear. So it's just discerning how you are giving, because it is very loving to give, but not if it's coming out of fear. And you will notice as you look back at the many times you've been giving to everyone, when that is truly coming from love. I want to just mention, when we did the heart cockle, that the shell's basic message is to think of love as a wheel with lots of spokes. And love as attention is one spoke on the wheel. Love as generosity is one spoke on the wheel. And what we tend to do is value one spoke and not even notice if we would even value the other spokes on the wheel. So this is someone who values gift giving and generosity as thinking that that's love. The moon snail is someone who values love as attention, as their spoke on the wheel.
Cool. So now we'll see what the next one is.
Another spoke.
Another spoke. Sweet. So now our final color is shell pink. So with the shell pink energy, you know, I was trying to figure out the colors and linking them with the ocean and with shell energies. And when you think of that shell pink, there's a lot of shells that have that beautiful pinky, peachy, corally kind of color to them. And I often see that color in places like Florida. So I feel almost as if this color is related to some form of joy, but it's old. I feel like it's old joy, and there's a sense of holding on and trying to hold on to something that's old. You know, I think of Florida, of course, like your grandma or an older generation maybe. Of course, it's not all old generation in Florida, but that's just the sense that's coming to me at the moment. So I feel almost as if you're holding on to something that has an old energy linked with it, and maybe a person and memories that go with that, but you're holding on to it with love. There's love that's connected to it. However, with this kind of pinky color that I'm looking at, it's kind of got a little orangey, peachy with it as well. And when those colors come in as well, there can be like a neediness that's there with the pinky energy. There's some need that needs to be fulfilled, and there's a holding on that's still connected with that need. And I feel almost as if we need to let go at this moment and move into a new vibration, or move into a new reflection, or a new place, or a new way of being, and disconnect with something that may be from your past, maybe a person, a family. I keep getting family members that connect with this as well, and with a deep sense of love. And I feel that you've been very vulnerable, and that vulnerability is going to shift, and you're going to get stronger once you make this disconnect, or once you realize that you're holding on and it's time just to release. Phew. So now we'll see what Shell has to say and which shell comes up.
All right. So this shell, I'm going to show you both sides. It's that shell pink. It's the Shuttlecock vulva is what it's called. This is the inside of it, where the animal would be. And the meaning of this shell, it's one of the spokes on the wheel. It's love as quality time. And by that I mean, if someone were to say, I love you, this person would not feel loved. They need you, actions speak louder than words. They need you to spend time with them, and then they'll feel that they are loved. So if you say I love you and you're out the door, they are not going to feel that love. If you send gifts but you're not spending time, they are not going to feel that love. And what they may have in their lives are what I call triangular relationships, because every triangle is an opportunity for them to be the one that's chosen. So they want you to spend time with them rather than choosing to be with someone else, or even to do something else, go to work, spend time on a hobby, anything where you're not spending time with them. They don't feel loved. So it's all about that quality time, and then they will feel the love.
Cool. Interesting. It's interesting that it's called Shuttlecock because, it kind of looks like that, doesn't it? And the two sides that are pulling at it as well.
Exactly. So like one person will say, well, if you loved me, you'd be with me. And the other one says, well, if you'd love me, you'd be with me. And you're torn in those two directions because they need you to choose them. And it can be at work. It can be with family, Elizabeth, when you said you feel the family. Because family members can definitely put that stress of, I need you to be with me, and the other one says, no, I need you to be with me. And who do you love more as you're, being torn in two directions?
Cool.
So that's love as quality time.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing your shells with us. This has just been wonderful. And, I do take a look at Michelle's website, oceanoracle.com. She teaches teleseminars as well, don't you, about shells and how to read shells. And of course, she has other books. And I think you have another oracle. Don't you have another oracle? Not just the shell oracle?
I just have the shell oracle, but I have CDs. I have using the shells as crystals because shells are crystals.
Yeah.
So that you can use them as energy tools as well, besides
lovely.
the divination.
That's perfect. Now, we were talking before about a shell for memory. So what shell would you use for memory?
It's called the sieve cowrie. I have one. Let me just show you. It's right. It's a good thing I have my cabinet right here.
Right. How psychic is she, eh?
This is the sieve cowrie.
Oh, right. Oh, my
And you know how a sieve is sort of filtering things as they drop through? So with this shell, it's all about seeing your mind as closing up those holes in the sieve to retain the information.
Oh, wow.
Because there is an expression, my mind is like a sieve, and you feel like all the information is just going right through and you're not retaining anything.
That's perfect. Thank you. Now, before we leave, is there anything you want to leave people with? Is there a message you want to give them?
Yes, because if we go back to the image of the wheel with the spokes, and I said, there's so many different aspects of love, and what people tend to do is choose one and not value or notice the others. And what I'd like them to consider, whichever spoke you're using, look around at the wheel, because if you start to see the other spokes have value, then if you're someone who says, I need you to spend quality time, and the partner in your life is out the door but telling you they love you or sending you gifts, you're feeling starved for love, when really there could be a feast at your door. And it's just a matter of you changing your perspective to value the other spokes, because love, it's all about the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So any part that you look at is of equal value to all the other spokes, and that will bring much more love into your life.
Oh, that's lovely. That's it. When you said that, I'm thinking of a cake. It's always about food with me, isn't it? Big chocolate cake. That's what I was thinking of. That's great. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. And, again, Michelle's website is oceanoracle.com, and all the shells are on there. And she's based you're in Massachusetts, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Not near the beach, but I am in Massachusetts.
Right, yeah. So I see Michelle at different expos, so do check her calendar. And you have a newsletter as well, right, that you send out. So sign up for a newsletter too. So take a look at my website as well, sealedwithlove.com. And until next week, lots of Coloriscious blessings to you. Bye.
Thank you. Seashell blessings.
Seashell blessings.